Dr. Amwa, can you hear Kojo Poku? Dr. Amwa, are you with us?
Yeah, I can hear him.
Okay, please go ahead.
Let me ask the question. You can ask him. Look,
Kojo, go ahead. Kojo, go ahead.
There is 1.2 billion Ghana cedis in the price stabilization fund. If Stephen is saying that the opposition has not told them exactly how to reduce the burden on Ghanaians, is he aware of this 1.2 billion that sits in the price stabilization fund account? And what is government going to do with the 1.2 billion Ghana cedis that sits in that account?
All right. That's a simple question. Dr. Amwa, quick response.
Yeah, but let me, in the first place, it is in Parliament today that our even minority friends are putting pressure on all these funds and heritage funds and co, because they are saying that we cannot even use them, we can use them. That is one issue. Two, I want to be very frank as much as possible. Me sitting here right now, I cannot answer this question because, in fact, when it comes to our budget outlays or expenditures, one arm that government can do something about is the discretionary spending policy arm and the use of state funds in performing some of these obligations. Me, as member of Finance Committee, probably can make input when I get platforms such as yours or send a proposal to those who matter in these jurisdictions and say that we can do A, B, C, D. But now, I really don't know the plans of the finance minister and the deputies and those managing the treasury and the government itself and the economic whatever team. I don't even know. But if there's something free sitting down there and Kojo is raising such important point, then I think the government should listen to what Kojo is saying. Kojo probably can add a proposal to his question, then forward to some of us, we'll forward to them that, hey, this expert in this field or this citizen or whatever is saying that we can make good use of this money in these areas and that will mitigate impact and that can even let us reduce the taxes. If you are reducing the taxes for now because of the problem we are having, we can make use of this now temporarily or in the short term. I think there's nothing. So I think Kojo should attach proposal areas he thinks will be prudent to use this and then we can base on that and say that if you're removing the taxes, we can fill in the gaps because the taxes are outlaid to attain utility and satisfaction for the people. Once you also stop, those utilities and satisfactions are also blocked. So we need to look at pros and cons. But me personally cannot say how we're going to use it, what we can do with it. In fact, I'm not even 100% sure if practically or materially the money is still sitting there. And if it's sitting there, I have the right to say, no, I can only make input. I can only make input.
Dr. Amwa, thank you so much for your time. I know I've been a little unfair to you keeping you so long. Thank you and do have a wonderful day. Stephen Amwa, Dr. Stephen Amwa is Member of Parliament for Ishaya, so he is on the Finance Committee of Parliament. And he's been sharing his thoughts on the fuel price increases and the practicality of bringing down prices or reducing taxes. Mr. Poku,
yes.
You've heard the response of Dr. Amwa. What is your take? He is saying he's not in the finance ministry, so to speak. So.
It's unfortunate that he doesn't know the law that they passed themselves. Look, the Price Stabilization and Recovery Fund was passed purposely for only one thing, to subsidize and reduce the burden on Ghanaians when the fuel price is high. It is not a fund like the Heritage Fund. It is not like any other fund. The Price Recovery and Stabilization Fund was set up purposely for one thing. So if he's telling me that he's not aware, he's telling me that they don't know, and you are a member of the Finance Committee who should know these things. Now, Parliament is saying that the opposition, that this should be, look, it's a very simple matter, my brother. For me, it is not about whether government can do something. Government can do a lot more. And we are not even talking about taxes, because yes, I agree with Stephen. The taxes should not be taxed, should not be touched. Because if you touch the taxes, all the things that he talks of, you need that money for other things. For us, we are not saying touch taxes. The Price Stabilization and Recovery Levy was put in place. You are saying that you are going to zero that levy from 16 pesos on fuel, 14 and 16 pesos. Today, what we are saying is that it's good you want to take 16 pesos off, but there is 1.2 billion. One, come and account to Ghanaians, our money. Where is that money? If that money sits there, then the one thing we want is that tell us how you want to use that money. And for my calculation,
how would you say we should be using that money at a time like this when fuel prices, petroleum products are all inching up north towards 7 cities? How would you say, as an energy analyst, that we should use it?
Well, look, it's 1.2 billion Ghana cedis. We use about 3 billion liters every year. So even if you do a further reduction on the prices of 20 pesos, that will be 6 million, that will be 600 million Ghana cedis a year. So the government can do a further reduction of 20 pesos, and that money, if it's sitting there, will basically help us go through 2 years of 20 pesos reduction on the fuel. So if you do 20 pesos plus the 16 pesos already done, that's 36 pesos a liter. Okay, so what we are saying is that we Ghanaians have paid 1.2 billion to government to keep for us. It's time to use that money for us. And that money is 1.2 billion per our estimation. The total amount of that money is supposed to be 2.5 and change, 2.5 billion. They use some of that to do what's that thing called? Premix.
Premix fuel.
Yes, they use some of that to subsidize premix. So let's assume they've used 50% of that money to subsidize premix over the last 5 years. There should be half of that money sitting there for us Ghanaians. So we are saying that if we're doing 3 billion liters a year, 20 pesos times 3 billion is 600 million Ghana cedis a year. Use that to help us for the next 2 years. Or even prices might come down after a year.
Stephen Amoah talks about the fact that government is constrained. If you've heard recently, we are approaching the IMF again. Things are not looking good. When you look at our debt to GDP ratio, we've crossed 70%. And we have COVID to deal with. We have an economy to build. Yes, the projections as far as the IMF, World Bank are concerned for our economy and the growth are on the positive, but it still remains that we're still struggling. We're still trying to get things together. And he is saying that it would be impractical at this point in time to say we're going to ease certain taxes. You've brought in this bit about the 1.2 billion Ghana cedis, but he's saying that the practicality of it is not that easy. Mind you, you're also aware that across the world, oil prices are going up. So it's a pretty tricky situation. Now, the next question to you is, would you say then that in the economic and budget statement that will be delivered on November the 15th, we should see some tax rebates given to ordinary Ghanaians, if not the 1.2 billion?
My brother, it's not tricky. You see, you keep changing and not understanding what I'm telling you. There is money that the law says it should be used for one thing. Government cannot use that money for anything else. That money is not for anything else.
But my point is this. It's not about, I'm trying to look at this in a very holistic way, broadly. You say that government should be using You say that government should be using the 1.2 billion.
No. You see,
and I'm telling you that yes.
Let me explain. You go to Parliament and pass a law that says that I'm collecting this money from Ghanaians to do A. The law doesn't say that you can use the money for B. If you want to use the money for B, you have to go back to Parliament and ask Parliament that please allow me to use the money for B.
Which has not been done.
As we are concerned, nobody has gone to Parliament to say that that money has been used for B. So the money, Parliament was very specific in passing the law. The law says that it should be used for one thing. So it's easier to use the money to subsidize fuel now than it is to do it otherwise. So it's difficult to use it for otherwise.
Okay. So
for me,
like I'm repeating, Kojo, I understand you. I agree with you. I concur. But the point is, it's not been used for that purpose so far. And I'm saying that if we were to think outside of the box,
we shouldn't make excuses for government. You are trying to make excuses for government. We shouldn't.
I am not actually.
We settle for less all the time. We shouldn't. I'm telling you that. Look, on this matter, we should not. Look, you go to a susu. Somebody come to you and collect susu. I'll give it to you when times are hard. You pay the susu for years. You go to the guys and look, times are hard. My kids can't pay. I can't pay my kids' school fees. Please give me the money. And then he wants to tell you when he can give you the money and why economic situation and blah, blah, blah. What do you care? What do we care as Ghanaians? You collected our money. And it's 1.2 billion. I don't see where anybody wants to drift from this conversation and talk about taxes. I agree 100%. we shouldn't taxes on petroleum products. I agree, we shouldn't. But money that you collected from us, the 1.2 billion, where is it? I don't see how everybody lets politicians get away with that kind of English where, oh, they're cyclic and whatever. It's not necessary. 1.2 billion price stabilization fund. Where is the money? It's simple.
And so for you, that is the approach. That is the only way forward. As an energy analyst, what do you feel can be done to trigger that situation? Because Parliament is also maybe inactive in a way. The minority end, they are calling for some of these to be done, but no real action has been taken. What would you like to see moving forward from the August House of Parliament?
Even the 16 pesos that we were told, the bill has not been laid. The bill has not been laid. So a month ago, the president issued a statement that we are going to get 16 pesos reduction. We said, oh, when Parliament comes back, we will get a reduction. Parliament will pass the law. Parliament has been back for 2 weeks. The bill has not even been laid in Parliament. So that tells you the level of seriousness that people take to the level and the plight of Ghanaians. For me, it is not a negotiable conversation. The budget is coming. Well, like Mr. Dr. Amwa said, government is already stretched. And we all know that the physical space is low, okay? From 2017, the first budget of the Honorable Minister, Mr. Oforiatta told us, Ken Oforiatta told us that he has a very small wiggle room in terms of after he has paid interest on indebtedness and paid statutory salaries and stuff like that, they don't have space for development. So in that case, they were going to basically clean that space, create room, but that has not happened in 5 years. They've not created a room. They've congested that space further. Okay, so it is any mind-boggling. Look, in 2016, I said that whoever became president or whoever became the next government of Ghana, 1 + 1 no longer equals to 2. When I said that, people laughed, but that's the truth. In Ghana today, 1 + 1 is no longer equals to 2. The reason I say that is that it's not that simple. So if you want to become a government of Ghana, you should have innovative ideas to take us out of the problem we are in, the conundrum we are in.
And so far, you're not seeing. So far, you're not seeing those innovative ideas.
But have you? I mean, what we all have naked eyes. Have we seen it? 5 years down the line, we are still being talked about how the physical space is congested. Right. So in 5 years, has anybody done anything apart from the borrowing, doing 50-year bond, talking about a century bond? What I mean, look. There are more problems that we even know about than some of us are aware of, and it's not even public. So look, it's dire.
Right. Let's wrap on this final point. I know you have a take on this. Now, some of the drivers are complaining, the unions and all of that. They are saying we can't take this anymore. As the prices go up, we also want to increase our fares. In fact, today, this very morning, the Circle Ordona station, there's going to be a press conference held there. Should these unions even be touting these instead of just going ahead and increasing the fares if there is some legitimacy to it? Of course, taking into consideration the fact that ordinary Ghanaians are also suffering the brunt of this. What is your take?
Well, from January to today, prices have gone up almost every other window, okay? And it's the two drivers on that's why we think that government should have a bit more urgency on this issue than it does. The reason we say that is because if the drivers increase price today, everything goes up and it doesn't come back. That's the problem. You understand? So if we are not careful and the drivers do not do the consensus building that they are doing and decides to increase prices, it's a one-way street. So I thought that by now, government will have acted quickly, brought in the bill and passed the bill for the 16 pesos reduction. That would have shown that it's doing something to help the situation, but nothing has been done. So if our brothers go ahead and do these increases, it's a one-way street. It doesn't come back down again.
Should they? Are they justified at this point to bring to bear any increments? They're saying that month on month there are.
Oh yeah, they are 100% justified. If you look at the trend over the years, they are 100% justified. It's just that they are putting a human face to their work. They know that they serve the populace and people are suffering, so they want to put a human face to the work. But they are 100% justified. Yes.
Well, Mr. Kojo Poku, thank you so much for joining us for this very important conversation. We're very grateful, sir, and do have a good day. That is Kojo Poku. He is an energy oil analyst, I should say, and he's an industry player. That's the best way to put it. Now, we're going to quickly look at our second conversation very briefly. We're going to be engaging Dr. Samuel as